The general prologue, we read the beginning of it in Middle English. But first of all, a few remarks on the language, okay? Basically speaking, pronounce all the letters. Pronounce all the letters in Middle English. When we say something like, when there's something like knorre, no, say knorre, okay? The grapheme, GH, is silent today in English, but in Middle English, you have to pronounce it. It's the ich or ach in German, So night, the equestrian bloke, knicht, okay, knicht. Or enough, wow, that is terrible, is inuch. Generally speaking, the vowels have the same value as in Latin. They don't in English anymore today because you have the great vowel shift, but this is before the great vowel shift, all right? So, same as in Latin, which means E, and I is E, and double E is E, okay? And EA is A, and so on. Look at it. No but sound, okay, as in Northern English, so you say much and cum, and not much and come. These are the main differences. Generally speaking, on a footnote, we write Middle English today and pronounce Modern English, which means that all those inconsistencies in spelling today, most of them, 99% of them, are due to the fact that we speak Chaucer's English and pronounce it in a completely different fashion. For those of you who have a different mother tongue, German, for example, just pronounce everything as if it were German. Right, you are fine. Most of the time are, okay. Or Scandinavian language or something like this. As I just said, English changed later on drastically, but we still spell like that. Here, a very prevalent example, okay? Enough and though. They look like perfect rhymes. They are not. They were, okay, in Chaucer. Inuch and thuch. Perfect rhymes. Today, enough and though, nothing of that remained. This is a drastic example, but yes, it's like that, okay? Nevertheless, I will read the beginning of the general prologue out to you, and you may just follow, okay? I have a 95% chance of hitting the right sound, but, the first thing is get the meter straight and get the rhyme straight, and then, okay. So, that's the beginning. Here beginneth the balk of the Tales of Canterbury. Wandered April, with his sure sote, the drocht of March hath perset to the rote, and bathed every vein in switch liqueur, of which whereto engendered is the fluor. One Zephyr Zach, with his sweat breath, in spirit hath in every halt and hath the tendre groppes, and the junge sunne hath in the ram his halve course I runne. And smale voedes maken melodieën, dat slepen alve nicht with open ear. So pricketh hem natuur in hier courages, van longen volk to go on pilgrimages, and palmers for to seken straunges strondes, to ferne halwes couth in sundry londes. And specially, from every sheerest ende of England to Canterbury they wende, the holy blissful martyr for to seke that hem hath holpen, whether they were seke. Befeel that, in that seizoen on a day, in soothwerk up the tabard as I lie, ready to wenden on me pilgrimage to Canterbury with full devout courage, et nicht we komme into that hostelrie, well 29 in a compagnie of sundry folk, be avonturie falle in fellowship, and pilgrims were they alle, that to what Canterbury wolden read. The chambers and the stables were a weede, and well were an eset at the beste, And shortly, when the sun was to rest, so had he spoken with him every John that he was of your fellowship anon, and made forward early for to reise, to take uur way, thereas you devise. But natheless will ye have team and space, that he further in this tale pass, me think of it accord down to resume, to tell you all the condition of each of them, so as it seemed may, and which they werden, and of what degree, and eke in what array that they were in, and at the knecht, then will he first begin. So there's that, Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, the beginning of it. It starts with the Natureingang. When that April with his sweet showers, the drought of March hath pierced to the root, and bathed every vein in such a liquor of which virtue the flower is engendered. Something like that. So, April is coming, the showers are coming, the first buds are going to blossom. Okay, it's going to be dry. It's going to be wet, sorry, because there was a dry wind before this. I mean, what Chaucer invokes here is a more or less Mediterranean spring, because he mentions Zephyrus, the warm wind. Zephyrus also with his sweet breath inspired hath in every wood and in every heath the tender crops, and the young sun hath in the rum his half course run. So this is an astronomical way. I mean, we know exactly what date it was, because if the sun is halfway through the ram, it's something like mid-April. Okay. And then he goes on, small fowls, small birds, make melody, they sleep all night with open eye. That's a stereotype. So pricketh them not nature in their carriages, so yes, in their hearts. And when this comes, folks go on pilgrimages. I mean, so you have a Natureingang, and I don't want to spend too much time on that. With April coming in, the flowers are engendered, the birds start to sing, and the fishes in the flood, and what have you. Okay, and this is the time when folk go to pilgrimages, when spring comes. So the first impression which you get of the poem here is wrong. Insofar as you get a Natureingang and then you expect love. And there are two kinds of love. There is, of course, the love to a lady, and then there's love of God. And you expect the love of God because he says folks go on pilgrimages, and you expect now, a poem is coming about devotion. Folks go to pilgrimages, and it's about the love of God. No, nothing like that. I mean, if anything, the Canterbury Tales is for medieval times a very godless poem. Really is. Chaucer doesn't have anything to say good about the church. Nothing. Doesn't say anything. I mean, even when the devil, in some of the tales, the devil farts, and there are priests coming out, or monks coming out of his arse, and they are flying around, and they are completely soiled. Something like this. No, ecclesiastical people in Chaucer have a very bad standing. So it's ironic. You, after the Natureingang, you expect a devotional poem, and it's going to be a very secular affair. Believe me, even if there are a lot of ecclesiastical people there. But yes, the way they behave is not very appropriate, to say the least. Okay, so this is the beginning. And then it stops, Natureingang. Then folks go on pilgrimages. And then it goes on, and pilgrims seek strange strands to faraway lands, all over the world, something like this. And then he goes on, and especially from every shire's end of England to Canterbury they go, wend, still in the present tense, yeah. Why do they go there? The holy blissful martyr to seek, this is Thomas Becket, that hath helped them when they were sick. And now, okay, folks go to Canterbury on these pilgrimages, and then he says, now it happened on this season, on a day, as I lay in Southwark. So this is the tabard, the pub, where he lay, ready to go on my pilgrimage to Canterbury with full devout courage. And now something happens. At night came 29 pilgrims in a company of diverse people, and they were by accident together in fellowship, and they were all pilgrims, and they wanted to ride to Canterbury. The chambers were wide, they were east at best, and when the sun rest, I had spoken to every one of them, that I would go with them, was of their fellowship now, and proposed to rise early to take our way. And then here, that's the important bit, yeah. But nevertheless, while I have time and space before I pace further in my tale, I think it's very accordant, very appropriate, to reason and to tell you, and now it comes, the condition of each of them. So as it seemed to me, and which they were, and of what degree, and also in what array, clothes they were in, and I will begin with the night. Once again, yeah, I tell you the condition. In what condition are they in? What they look like. What condition? What did they look like, those people? Tell you the condition of them. Then which they were in, which means what they were by way of their profession. Okay, knights, monks, carpenters, millers, reeves, pardoners, whatever, yeah. And then again, of what social standing, degree they were, the social hierarchy. And also, and egg, in what garments they were, clothes, in what array they were. And I will begin at the night. There you see, and he will adhere to that, this formula. So, condition, more or less, what did they do? Okay, what was their social position, and what did they look like, and what was their character? The character which they were in. Very cool. This is the formula he uses, and in the end, he will always, to cut a long story short, every pilgrim will appear to be the best of his kind. But in the end, you will have a revealing detail, which in a way tells you he's not what he looks, or she. There are also three women among them, the nun, the wife of Bath, and a second nun. I will talk about those in due time. But the important bit is, after that, he tells us what he wants to do. I will give you now the portraits after this short introduction. Now the portraits ensue of those pilgrims, which will adhere to a certain structure, which he gives us here. Condition, which they were, what degree, what clothes, what character, and in the end also what is their characteristic flaw, if you like, because there is only one positive character there. That's the clerk, the student, the only one. The rest of them, they all have some characteristic flaw, I think. Let's have it Shakespearean here. Yes, they have that. So he blows up these bubbles. They are beautiful and they are the best and so on. In the end, he pricks it all the time. Chaucerian irony, and this is his great, great achievements. And believe me, those portraits are among the greatest literary achievements of the English language, as are all of the Canterbury Tales. Okay, we'll take